students, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Pata. So very much welcome again. So would like to see you and meet you before the exam. Hmm. So how are you doing? Hope you're doing fine. Okay, today is a special day because I wish to discuss another question paper with you, a past paper with answers and with the marking scheme. I thought of giving you the answers as well as the marking scheme as well. So you are very clear of what's the expected outcome, right? Okay, let me share the screen. Usually I don't share this, but again, for my good students, I thought of sharing that to you. Okay, so if you go to the LMS, I have put another. So let me go to the LMS. Okay, so you can see here, 2024 June final examination with answers, right? So, and the marking scheme as well. So, I encourage you to download it, and it has all the questions, answers, on the past papers week number 15. Is it visible to you? Is it visible? Hope, I think
Yes,
it's
sir.
visible.
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So let's download it and open it. So this is the question paper. So this time also you'll get a case study. That's a compulsory question. As I told you, the question number 1 is compulsory. It's 40 marks. And then you will write another 3 questions out of 4 questions. Right? So you have one option. But question number 1 is not optional. You have to write it. So you are not going to be given computers and asked to analyze the data on the spot. You'll be given outputs in appendices. By looking at the outputs, you have to answer the questions. Okay, so let's, so you can see there's a structure, the same structure is there this time, right? And we discussed stata. So the students who, I don't know whether there are repeat students in this call. In case if you are repeat students, then you will get SPSS outputs. On the other hand, if you are current students, you will get, of course, stata outputs, right? I wonder what kind of output that is. Yeah, here it's SPSS. So, but probably will you will get the state outputs, but therefore don't worry, right? You'll get the state outputs, so you don't need to worry about that. And better here, better if I give you one which has state outputs, isn't it? Because this is SPSS. You will be getting stata. So I can convert these to stata, but again, that will take some time. But again, better if I teach you that. So give me a moment. So you can ignore this paper because it contains SPSS outputs. So don't look at this because it's some other package. But let me take a stata past paper. I don't know, but whether there will be answers to that. It's a problem. So give me a moment. Let me check that. Because we are doing those days in about 1 year back, I was teaching SPSS, but it was not a good choice because I told you why we are using stata. Stata can be run in any system, isn't it? Okay, give me a moment. So CA Sri Lanka package-based data analytics. Let me take a recent one, not this year's one, of course. This year's one already set and sent, and I think it should be already printed. Okay. So let's see. Final examination paper. A recent one. Let's take a recent one. So you'll be able to, so give me a moment. Yeah, this is a better one, but I don't know whether there's the answer. Answers should be there. Yeah, the marking guide is also there, so there's no problem. Yeah, the marking guide is also there. You're fortunate. Okay, so what I'll do is I will. So just forget about the earlier one because it's one is PSS. You were taught data. Yeah, this also has suggested answers. So I will consider this, then I'll upload it. So what I'll do is marking guide. Yeah, with the password. Right, okay. So let me upload these two. So I'll remove the earlier one. It's to avoid confusion. Delete, let's delete it. Yes. Okay. All right. Don't look at it because it's another package. It's based on another package. Okay. I would like to give you with the answers. That's my key point. Past papers. Okay, 2025 May. Let's take the 2025 May paper. Six without password. And also I will take the marking guide. Right, I'll give you the marking guide, which I usually don't do, but for my good students, I'll consider giving that as well. Okay, yeah, it's there. All right. Okay, Puta. So let me now share the screen again. Screen share. Okay, I think you can see the LMS. Right. And in the LMS, if you refresh, Puta, if you can't see this, you have to refresh. And under week number 15, now there are two new files. One is the final examination paper and the marking guide. So these are not actually model answers, right? These are brief answers. At the exam, you have to elaborate well, right? So I'm going to tell you that how to do that. So why not you now download 2025 May recent paper, right? It was in May, right? Okay. So please open that May paper as well as marking guide, which usually I don't do, but I thought of giving that to you. Why not? Okay. Right. Okay. Now, as I told you, the structure, there is no any difference, which I told earlier. right? Question number 1 will be compulsory, and then you'll have to write 3 questions out of 4 questions. You have one choice, right, within the 3 questions. So the time allowed is 3 hours, right? Now, shall we go through this question? Okay, you can see the, and you can download, no? In case if you cannot see that in the LMS, please refresh the screen. Then you'll be able to see that. Have you downloaded that? Can someone please confirm?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, Uta, thank you very much. Great.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Okay, Uta, great. Then now let's see question number 1, which is compulsory. This time also this structure is there. So a multinational financial service firm has recently implemented an AI-powered financial advisory system to assist stakeholders, including financial analysts, investment managers, and individual clients. The system is designed to improve decision-making through predictive analytics, real-time market insights, and automated risk assessments. So it says then a study was conducted to evaluate the impact of three key aspects on the stakeholders' satisfaction regarding the effectiveness of such system: the accuracy of financial predictions, the reduction of decision-making biases, and time efficiency. Data was collected using a structured questionnaire and analyzed using Stata. Now it's Stata. Ignore the earlier version, right? Earlier paper which I uploaded, which was based on SPSS. Right. Now, if you look at carefully this paragraph, you should be able to identify what are the independent and the dependent variables. Can someone tell me what's the independent variable, or what are the independent variables and what's the dependent variable? You can confirm that by looking at the questionnaire also, which is in Appendix 1. You'll see that. So a questionnaire used for this study is provided in detail in Appendix 1, which includes Part A, demographic information, Part B, questions related to dependent and independent variables using a 5-point Likert scale. The analysis results are presented in Appendix 2. So in Appendix 2, the results are given which you need to interpret. Based on this information, answer the following questions. So the first question is state the possible quantitative research objectives. Then second one, appropriate hypothesis. Then comment on the reliability, comment on the validity, comment on the overall model validity, comment on the explanatory power, recommend strategies. So, right, and here numerous other questions could be asked. You might be given even regression assumptions, right? You can be asked, okay, you might be given output related to regression assumptions, and you might be asked questions. Now let's see what kind of answers that you could have given, right? So you can see the marking guide. I'll give you the marking guide here, suggested answers and marking guide. So as I told you, what are the possible quantitative research objectives? I told you that there could be 4 types of quantitative objectives. What are those? First, the level. You could assess the level of a variable. In this case, level of what? Satisfaction related to the effectiveness of AI-powered financial advisory systems. So that's a dependent variable. So first, let's try to understand. Again, let's go back to the case and go to Appendix 1, right? So go to Appendix 1, and you can see in the Appendix 1, you have the questionnaire. So you can see age, gender, stakeholder type is there. Then it says the independent and dependent variables. That's important. It's in Likert scale. So accuracy of AI prediction, reduction in data of decision biases, and time efficiency. And then you have the satisfaction with effectiveness of AI in financial advisor. So it says very clearly what the dependent variable. So what's the dependent variable? And even it says DV1 to DV4. So you can see very clearly it is the dependent variable, right? Satisfaction with effectiveness. So what are the independent variables? How many independent variables are there? Students, now you have to engage. Now today there is a revision. In fact, there was a request from your batch. Shironi was asking me why not. So we have a small discussion. I told, of course, why not? Right. Okay, so how many independent variables are there here?
3 independent variables.
Very good, excellent. 3 independent variables. What are those? The accuracy, biases, and time effectiveness, right? Time efficiency, right? Accuracy of predictions, that's the accuracy. Reduction of decision biases, that's the second one. And the time efficiency is the third independent variable. So first you have to understand that. Before you write anything, you have to understand the case. Right? Take 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes to understand the case. No longer that, and then start scoring marks. So now you can see the first, if you go to answer, right? State the possible quantitative research objectives. First of all, you could see the level of satisfaction, right? Satisfaction level of the dependent variable, right? Then second one, you are going to look at relationships, right? Relationship between those 3 independent variables and the dependent variable satisfaction, stakeholder satisfaction. Then the third one is what? To see the impact, significant influence. That's the impact that we got. Now here is the relationship, and this is the impact, significant influence or the impact of these 3 on the dependent variable satisfaction. And the fourth one, to see the differences, right? Differences of the satisfaction, right, based on gender. Whether males are satisfied more than females regarding this AI-powered system, or vice versa. Then stakeholder type, based on the stakeholders, whether there are differences, right? So you can see these are the 4 objectives that you can cover, but you asked only 3 objectives, isn't it? You are asked to write 3 objectives. Possible. So it doesn't say, so at least write, so 6 marks. So at least 3 objectives, 2 into 3, 6 marks. That's how it's being given. 2 marks per well-defined objectives. That's what's required. Now, if I ask you this question, now there are 4 objectives. What are the analyses that you are going to do? To see the level, what's the analysis you do?
Descriptive analysis.
Very good, excellent. Descriptive analysis. Then to see the relationship between the independent variables and the dependent variables separate, you have to look at those. What's the analysis you do, Putha?
Correlation.
Excellent. Correlation analysis. That's what you do. To see the relationship, you do the correlation analysis. Excellent. Then to see the significant influence or the impact of these independent variables on the dependent variable, but that's the satisfaction. So what's the analysis that you do?
Regression analysis.
Regression analysis. Perfect. 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 So you have done your studies well. That's what it shows. Then to see the differences, what are the analysis that you would do? Now, if you want to see the difference between gender, what's the analysis you do?
Frequency analysis.
Frequency analysis, that will count. Here you are looking at differences, Putha, whether there are significant differences between 2 independent groups. T-test, isn't it?
Independent sample t-test.
Very good. Independent sample t-test. And don't worry to make mistakes. Today is also a class. Don't make mistakes at the exam because you lose marks. But today is a class, so make any mistake, there is no worries. And make mistakes in your life, right? Particularly, don't take unnecessary risk and mistakes. Don't do that. But in studies, of course, in discussions, you can make your comments. And don't worry. Who cares? Right? You will learn. That's what you will do. So yes, independent sample details, gender. Gender, there are 2 groups, males and females. Stakeholder types, there are 3 groups, I think you can remember. Stakeholder types, there are 3 groups. Then if you want to compare 3 groups, what's the analysis that you do?
One way and
More than 2 groups? Very good, excellent. One way and all. With post-hoc analysis if necessary. Perfect. So likewise, that's why we have 4 objectives. At least write 3 objectives. When if 8 marks are given, write 4 objectives. And this is what you have to do. So I'm giving you the answers also today to make your lives easy. So usually I don't do this. I never give the answers and never give these things. I'll just explain what thought of giving my good students this to give you value. But the problem is some students would just try to by heart this, but this is not the case that you are going to get this time. Right? So you have to understand and apply. Right? In a case, right? Okay. Then formulate appropriate hypothesis for the case given above. So what are the hypotheses? Can you tell me some hypotheses? How many hypotheses that you can come up with under the given circumstances? How does Kiyak develop curriculum? Excellent. Who told 3? Excellent. Very good. 3. Yes, indeed, it's 3. These are the hypotheses. So you take each independent variable, accuracy, right? We say accuracy will have an impact on stakeholder satisfaction. So that's the first hypothesis. We'll always say H1 colon, H2 colon, H3 colon. That's how you write hypothesis, right? And in the exam also you do the same. If you're not going to do that, then I know that we are not going through at least today's discussion. At least today's discussion. Right? So it was your request to have it today, right? It's a very timely request because then you should have studied, and if you have any questions, you can ask me. And you don't need to wait till, I finish the session because I'm going to finish it at 10. Therefore, ask any questions. But if you don't understand something or if you want to get clarifications, ask me. Right? Ask me, then I'll be able to help you. And taking this past paper, you'll see, because this past paper, the structure is quite similar. The case is different, the outputs are different, but the structure is quite similar. So here you can have 3 hypotheses, right? Then comes, now in appendix 2, you are given state outputs. In appendix 2, Buddha, you are given state outputs. Now there you have to go and see that and
Excuse me,
comment.
sir.
Yes, Buddha.
Sir, when we're developing hypothesis, is it not a
Yeah.
must to say significant influence?
It's better. It's better, Buddha. Now here it says it leads to, prediction leads to. Right, here it has been written, Buddha, in a different way. But of course, it's better if you can write it. Very good point. Right? You can write a significant impact. You can use that term.
Right, sir.
Right?
Thank you.
You can use that. And I encourage you to mention that term, significant impact. Right? Or significant influence. Better. Because we expect a significant impact, not just an impact, a significant impact less than 0.05 impact. Right? The sig value or the p value, the probability value should be less than 0.05. Okay,
Excuse
good point.
me, sir.
Just put up.
So when we mention saying like significant impact, after that,
Yeah.
do we need to say it is increasing or decreasing, like that
No,
terms also?
no. It's not necessary, Buddha. You can keep it open.
Okay.
Not
Okay,
necessarily.
sir.
You don't need to, because usually, Buddha, you don't need to take a side. You will say it can be significant positive or significant negative. So who knows? Sometimes significant negative, it might impact, isn't it? So therefore, better to, but some researchers, Buddha, say we have to take a side. Like when you are doing your own research, your supervisor might say, no, write positive or negative. Then don't say to your supervisor, no, Professor, I was told not to take sides. If your supervisor says do so, because there are 2 traditions in writing hypothesis. One taking sides, the other one not taking sides. I prefer not to take sides. Okay. So that's why, Buddha. So you don't need to necessarily say positive or negative. Good point. Ask
So
such kind of clarification.
excuse sir.
Of course. Please go
So
ahead.
here, so we can write it like this, right? The accuracy of financial predictions have a significant impact on stakeholder satisfaction.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
You can use significant impact. You can take one independent variable. Now, decision-making biases could have a significant impact on stakeholder satisfaction. Reduction of decision-making bias. You don't need to necessarily say positive or negative. Then time efficiency has a significant impact on stakeholder satisfaction. Likewise, you could tell them. Good question. Good points. I think it's clear. So I expect at your exam, right? When you write to exam, you have to tell significant impact. Tell the independent variable and the dependent variable. Tell that there is significant impact. Okay. Good point. Now, Kunal, if you look at now to answer this one, comment on the reliability. Now, you have to go to Appendix 2 and comment on the reliability of the items related to the dependent variable. That's a satisfaction on the effectiveness of AI financial advisory systems. Right? So what do you need to refer? In Appendix 2, there are several outputs. I'm just asking you, how can you know whether the items are reliable or not, consistent or not?
Convex alpha.
Perfect. Cronbach's alpha. So let's go to Appendix 2. So what I'll do, I'll split the screen. So it's going to make our lives easy. In your case, you will have physical paper, so you don't just split the screen. I'm going to split the screen so you can see. So here is the question. So it was asking what? Yeah. Comment on the reliability. So let's go to Appendix 2. Appendix 1 is the questionnaire. Now let's go to Appendix 2. Here, Appendix 2 is there. In Appendix 2, you have 2.1 regression analysis. So the regression output is given. Then comes 2.2, it says reliability analysis. And you can see alpha and the variables are given. Okay. Now, by looking at the information, then you have fact analysis after that, right? By looking at the information given in 2.2, what can you say? Interpret that result. What can you tell? Are those 3 items reliable? There are 3 items to measure the dependent variable. Are those reliable?
No.
Okay, a student says no. No. How about others?
Not reliable.
No, sir.
Not reliable. Yeah, very good answer. All are telling the same. Yes, we told it should be above 0.7. Here it's even below 0.6. So it's 0.566. So it's less reliable, isn't it? Right, it's less reliable because then, but you cannot just say whether it's not reliable. You have to tell. Now see the answer. These are not model answers, right? These are the answer guide, right? Based on what some students have written. So here, see how it's given. The Cronbach's alpha for the items used to measure the satisfaction with effectiveness is just 0.566 as shown in Appendix 2. So you have to identify it. You cannot just say not reliable. You have to tell the relevant output is Cronbach's alpha. Then the value 0.6 is below the generally accepted threshold of 0.70, indicating a poor internal consistency among the items, right? Less reliable. The suggestion that the reliability of the measurement scale is questionable. And the items may not consistently measure the same underlying construct. That's effectiveness, satisfaction of the effectiveness. It may be necessary to revise or remove one or more items to improve reliability, but there are only 3, so now how can we remove? That's another question. But again, this is the answer that we expect. You tell what's the statistic you are looking at, and then interpret that and tell, okay, what's going on. Okay, so again, these are expectations. So try to fulfill that expectation, right? So it's given 6 marks. So 3 marks for the Cronbach's alpha identification, 3 marks for the interpretation. Right, let's go back. Is that clear? Any questions? See, you got 6 marks, right? Okay, so that's C, and then D. If someone has any questions, please ask me, right? I'd be very happy to clarify. Because this is the last time I think I'm going to officially meet you, right? After that, I met you in 2 subjects. digital business strategy and package-based data analytics. And I don't think I'll meet you again, right? Unless it's in a research viva. Or maybe in a different capacity, right? Maybe when you are doing an MBA or PhD, we meet, but in a different capacity. Indeed, those are different capacities. Okay, let's come to D. Comment on the construct validity of the dependent variable. Satisfaction with the effectiveness, right? The construct validity. Using the appropriate analytical output given in appendix 2. It doesn't say what's the output. You have to select that. What's the appropriate output to see the construct validity? What's the appropriate output?
Factor load should be greater than 0.7.
On that cells, no. But again, perfectly, thank you, Clary, because you try, because maybe that's the whole idea of today's session. So what we see is sometimes some students might think it's the correct answer, but to see that it might not be. Therefore, make any mistake. There is no, but I told you, construct validity, particularly when I taught you what? What analysis? Fact analysis. I told you you will do fact analysis for how many reasons? You do fact analysis for how many reasons? 2 reasons. Very good. 2 reasons. What are the 2 reasons? 1, data reduction. Number 2, checking what? The construct validity. What's construct validity? Construct validity means once you perform a fact analysis, the 3 items should come as one construct. One construct. If it is coming as 2 vectors or 2 constructs, then there's no construct validity. Because this one construct, isn't it? Although there are 3 items to measure. If you go to the questionnaire, there are 3 items to measure the dependent variable, right? Satisfaction on the AI system's effectiveness. But in fact, if you do a factor analysis, rather than 3 items, it should come to 1 factor. Okay. So you can see a factor analysis has been performed. And what you can see, is there a construct validity? Do you see construct validity? Yes or no? See, very clear, it says retain factors how much? Only 1. And you can see the 3 sub-questions. The 3 sub-questions are loaded only under 1 construct, right? And you can also, here the eigenvalues are not given, but in the eigenvalues are given, that also will say how many factors are there. But here clearly it says it's retained value factors 1, and there's only 1 factor where these 3 are loaded. So what can you say? Is there a construct validity?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes, indeed. So that's here. Now I come to the answer. Comment on the construct validity. You have to very clearly say the fact analysis output in appendix 2 shows DV1, DV2, DV3. Those are the 3 items of the dependent variable. 3 statements. All load strongly on a single factor. Factor loadings are also 4.7. This confirms construct validity, indicating that all items measure a common underlying construct. Satisfaction with AI system. So likewise, you can elaborate this more. Of course, these are not suggested answers. These are some indicative guidelines. So at the exam, elaborate if you want, write more. But at least write these things. Right. Then using the regression results given in appendix 2, comment on the overall model. Sorry. Yes.
Sir, do you mind explaining the data reduction aspect of factor analysis?
Very good. Of course, why not? Now, Buddha, let me ask a question. Now, Buddha, if I go to the question, if you go to the question, right? Let's go to the question. Go to the question. Okay. Now, Buddha, here how many statements are there for measuring The dependent variable?
3.
3. When you do a factor analysis, Putha, how many factors come out? Now, put in these 3 statements, you run a factor analysis. How many factors should come out?
1.
1. So what happened? 3 became 1. Isn't it? That's what we call for the data reduction.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for asking that question, Putha.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, of course. Yes, Putha.
Small follow-up for that.
Of course.
So when we say data reduction, is that the part where we what we check using the factor loadings?
In factor loadings, Putha, that's the correlation between factor loadings are Putha, the correlation between the particular factor and the particular item. Factor loading means that. So data reduction means Putha, these 3 are loaded under one factor. And of course, the factor loading should be usually above 0.5. We expect that to be above 0.5, not to be below 0.4. Okay, got a point.
Sir,
Yes.
also,
Okay.
if you're
Yes.
providing the eigenvalue, then you'll provide it separately and say this is the
Exactly.
eigenvalue.
Then eigenvalue Putha would be indicating, that means now it will indicate 3 factors. Right? If the eigenvalue table was given, it's not given. So if it is given, then one factor would have had an eigenvalue above 1. That's an indication of what? There's one factor that is there. Right? Telling that there is construct value. Is that clear? Good point.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
No problem. Please do ask questions, because again, you won't have a chance. When are you going to have your exam? 14th or 15th? So don't ask care questions. Okay. You're going to have your exam, right? Right, okay. Right. Okay, Putha, thank you immensely for those questions. Thank you very much for those questions. So then let's now go to the next question. E. Comment on the overall model value, whether the overall model is valid or not. Right. So to look at that, you have to look at the regression analysis. Very clear says these are based on the regression analysis. So here you can see comment on the overall model validity. Here you can see the overall model validity is what? Is the overall model valid?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Why do you say yes? Why do you
Because
say
the probability of the F test is less
very
than
good?
0.0.
Excellent. You can see probability of the F test, right? The F value is 52.35 and the probability of the F test is less than 0.05. In that case, you conclude that as what? It's significant, right? The model is overall model is valid. So that's what I have given here. Yes, F stat and the p value, the significant value. The F statistic is significant, less than 0.05, based on the regression output in appendix 2. This implies that the model is, as a whole, statistically valid. And the independent variables jointly explain a significant portion of the variation in the satisfaction. That's what it says, it's valid. Good, excellent. Then let's go to the next question. So comment on the overall model validity, then comment on the explanatory power of the model. Now, where does explanatory power is being shown?
R square.
Very nice. R square. R squared here. What do you think? How do you interpret the result? R squared. It's 0.41. Is it good or bad?
No.
No, it's not good. Why? Right? So you have to express R squared as what? A fraction or a percentage?
Yeah. 41%.
41% indeed. What it says is the 3 independent variables could explain only 41% of the dependent variable. Satisfaction on the effectiveness of an AI system. So that is quite not good. 41. That means 60, almost 59%, or almost 60% it's explained by some other factors not considered in this model. You have to tell that as well, right? Better. So these three independent variables would explain only 40% or 41% to be exact. That means 59% of the variation of the satisfaction of AI-powered systems are explained by something else. Right. So let's go and see here. The R-squared value is 0.41, which means that the independent variable, accuracy of independent variables, accuracy of AI predictions, reduction of decision biases, and time efficiency explain approximately 41% of the variation in the stakeholder satisfaction with effectiveness of AI-powered financial advisory systems. Right? This indicates that the model has a poor level of explanatory power. A substantial portion of the variation is not explained, right? And other factors explain not 51%, right? It's 59%. 59%
Excuse me,
of
sir.
the
Can we
satisfaction.
take
Sorry, can you
excuse
take?
me, sir? Can we
Yeah.
above
Yeah, Buddha.
50% as acceptable? Is there a benchmark for that? Or?
Yes, higher the beta, Buddha. Usually above 50% is good. But again, if it is above 70%, it's even better. Higher the better. That's what it says.
Okay, sir.
Higher the better. At least 50%, or I would say even at least 70% would be better. But again, when you are doing your research, unfortunately, you might not get that large R-squared sometimes. Then you have to see what's the usual benchmark, right? That's when you do research, but that's not important for your exam. Right? Don't worry about it. Yes. Right. Over 70% is considered to be very good, but at least 50% a decent amount. Right. So then recommend strategies to increase decision-making effectiveness based on the results, right? So to increase the satisfaction related to this, what kind of recommendations you can do? To give recommendations, what you have to look?
We need to check whether the variables are significant or not.
Very good, excellent. Right? So you need to check whether the variables are significant, and you have to give recommendations only on what? Significant variables. So I'm going to give a recommendation on accuracy.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Why?
Significance value is like
Yeah,
zero.
it's even less than 0.05. So comment on accuracy, say that the accuracy is right, should be increased more. So the people would be happy, right? Satisfied. How about biases? Does it
No.
have an impact? No. So
Not
don't comment on biases. Then time efficiency. What
Yes.
about time? Yes, it's also less than 0.05. Our threshold is 0.05. So therefore, students comment only on increasing accuracy and time efficiency because both are having positive coefficients. So if you increase them, you can increase what? The satisfaction. So comment on that, strategies on those. So I have given that here. So improve the AI predictive accuracy and the real-time responsiveness, right? So you can then invest in advanced machine learning models now to have the accuracy levels and data quality. So give some sensible recommendations to increase the accuracy as well as real-time responsiveness, you could say, right? Integrate high-frequency data feeds and automated processing to improve the systems. On the other hand, if you are told, right, about biases, reducing biases, decision biases, or whatever things, you will lose marks. Even if you tell accuracy and time efficiency, you have to do something with that as recommendations. If you put biases, that means you are commenting on a non-significant independent variable. That means you have not understood anything. So marks will be reduced drastically. Even though if you comment on accuracy and time efficiency, so therefore don't comment on. Don't recommend strategies on things that are not significant. Keep that in mind. Some students are right? Some students write like it's like that, right? Bank reconciliation statement. Bank reconciliation statement, people think putting all items you will get marks. You put to addition as well as deduction, you put that and you think that marks will be given. But here we are going to reduce marks, right? If you put unnecessary, right? Insignificant, if you put recommendations on insignificant items, independent variables. So don't put any recommendations. Don't give any recommendation that's not significant. Okay. So you get 40 marks for that. 40 marks. Isn't it fascinating? Is it difficult? No. If you have studied well, getting 40 marks is not at all difficult. Right? Okay. So I think rest is, I don't need to explain, no? So you can understand, no? So now you have the marking scheme. Good luck. I just wanted to add a small question number 1 discussion. Shall we stop now? No. We'll discuss. We'll discuss the rest as well. Of course. Right. Just joking. Okay. Question number 2. Now, the first question was on certain analysis using Stata. And question number 2 is some extended analysis, right? Stata related other analysis. So for that, you will see in Appendix 3, you'll see in Appendix 3 some other outputs are there. Appendix 1 was the questionnaire. Appendix 2 was for the first question related outputs, and Appendix 3 is now related to the next one, right? This question number 2. Right, let's see. Describe the variables using the relevant output in descriptive statistic provided in Appendix 3. So if you go back to Appendix 3, right? So if you go back to Appendix 3, you will see here, this Appendix 3, there are results here. Now here it says, you have to identify what's the proper output. Now what's the proper output? Is it result 1? Result 2? Result 3? What's the output you have to refer to? Descriptive statistics. What are descriptive statistics? Mean, median, standard deviation, skewness, kurtosis, etc., etc. So what's the result that you will be referred to describe the variables? Result 1, is it? So then you can comment in a 1 to 5 Likert scale. You can see all variables are above 3. Right? In terms of, so the mean values, all variables are above the neutral value. And satisfaction is 4.4. Is it good or bad? The satisfaction level is 4.4. That's in between 4 and 5. Right? Satisfied and highly satisfied. So that's good. People are in the range of satisfied to highly satisfied. And in terms of the independent variables, all are about 3 again. And you can see the highest is time efficiency, 4.35. Right? And then the next one is accuracy. And in terms of standard deviation, you can see the highest standard deviation is with what? Biasness, lesion biasness. And the next one is satisfaction itself. That shows there are variation in perceptions related to those variables, but not too high. It's not 1. 0.72, it's 0.72. So likewise, you should be able to comment on the way that I told you. So here I have given the answer also. So these are not model answers. These are some suggestive answers. Describe the variables using the relevant output. So that was 2A. So suggested answer would be like this. Accuracy of AI production, the mean value is 4.25 and standard deviation 6.5. So that means what? Then you interpret that stakeholders generally agree because it's between agree and highly agree, that AI systems provide accurate financial prediction with moderate variation in responses. That's why it's 0.65. That's the standard deviation. Likewise, for the other variables also, you can comment. Right. Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
when interpreting the standard deviation, how do you know if it's high or low?
Comparatively, Buddha. In a 1 to 5
How do
Likert scale, in a 1 to 5 Likert scale, Buddha, if anything above 1 is considered to be a high variation. In Likert scale, no. When a Likert scale, Buddha, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the jumping point is 1, isn't it? So if it is above 1, that means it's quite considered to be quite high. Good question.
Right.
But if it is below 1, then it's kind of, but again, closer to 1, it's kind of, you would say, moderate. But if it is a low amount, then you could say if it is below 0.5 Buddha, then you can even say it's a low variation in the perceptions. Good question. What's the
But
benchmark? Is it?
one in this case would be dissatisfied, right?
Indeed. 1 is Buddha, not dissatisfied. What he says is there's a variation of 1. Now, for an example, if the mean was 4 and if the variation was 1, then it can be neutral, isn't it? Going in the low end, it can be plus or minus. Standard deviation could be plus or minus, isn't it? So it could be going to 5. Let's say the average value was 4, the mean value. So it can go to 5 or it can go to 3. Did you understand that?
Not really.
So do you understand what's standard deviation? That's the basic point. Standard deviation is for the deviation from the standard. What's the standard? Standard is the mean. ඒක උතා mean එකේ ඉඳලා කොච්චරද plus වෙනවද minus වෙනවද කියන එකනේ අදහස්. What it means is from the mean value, how it deviates. So mean value, let's say it's 4. Let's say standard deviation is 1. Then it can be plus 1 or minus 1. That's what standard deviation means. So high, now what you have to understand is only this. Higher the standard deviation means there is what? Higher variation of perceptions among the participants who have responded. Right? Because that's why it's deviating from standard. The observations, the real observations, the actual observations are going, here and there from the mean value. So that's put on standard deviation. Again, remember, standard deviation means the deviation from the standard, the deviation from the mean value. So that's calculated, right? Either plus or minus from the mean value. So for your understanding, Putta, just consider standard deviation as what? Standard deviation as the deviation from the standard. And if it is higher, that shows higher perception differences. Lower perception difference. Okay. And if you a little bit more details, Putta, I suggest you can use your beloved chat GPT. Right? You can go and ask so you can give the same scenario and you can ask, okay, can you interpret what's standard deviation? Then, of course, it will give you with examples because it's a very important statistic that you have to understand. Mean standard deviation. It's a measure of dispersion, how much the perception differ, right? High value would indicate there are higher perception differences. Good question.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
By all means. Right. So that's part A. And part B, evaluate whether satisfaction with the effectiveness of AI-powered financial advisory differs based on the following demographic factors using the relevant outputs in Appendix 3. Now it says whether based on gender, whether the satisfaction level differs. Then whether on the stakeholder type, whether satisfaction differs. And when it comes to stakeholder type, they're asking about overall differences as well as group-wide differences. Can you remember that? Okay. Now tell me, if you want to see whether the satisfaction level is different based on gender, what's the analysis that you perform?
Independent
Gender
t-test.
Very good, indeed. Excellent. So, independent sample t-test. So, let's now go and locate in Appendix 3 the independent sample t-test. Appendix 3. Can you see the independent sample t-test? In result 2, you can see males, their satisfaction level is what? 4.35. And the females are having 4.43. So there's a slight difference, isn't it? Of course, it's different, but is it significantly different? We don't know.
No.
We don't know. So that's why we perform what? We perform this test, right? So they have directly given the test value as what? The probability value as 0.213, right? You can apply the 4 steps that we have discussed. What are the 4 steps that we discussed in conducting test of difference? Step number 1, establish a null hypothesis. Null hypothesis. What's the null hypothesis? That says that there is no difference, no significant difference between males and females in terms of satisfaction related to the effectiveness of the AI system. Step number 2, decision criteria. What's the decision criteria? If less than, with the sig value or the p value, the probability value is less than 0.05, reject the null hypothesis. Step number 3, using Stata, perform the independent sample t-test and calculate the sig value, the significant value of the probability value. Here it's given 0.213. Then step number 4, conclusion, right? What's the conclusion? What's the conclusion? What's the conclusion? Students? What is the conclusion? Students, are you with me?
There is no
Yeah,
significant difference between the groups.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent. There is no significant difference between males and females, the 2 groups. Why? Because the sig value is well above 0.05. So we cannot reject the null hypothesis. Right? We cannot reject that there is no difference. Meaning what? There is no difference. There is no significant difference between males and females in terms of the satisfaction related to the effectiveness of this AI system. Right? So that's the conclusion. Right. The next question was based on the stakeholder types, whether there's significant difference. Now there were 3 types, 3 stakeholders. Right? 3 stakeholders. There are financial analysts, investor managers, as well as clients. Right? So overall, is there a difference among the stakeholder types? If you want, you can apply the 4 steps, so you can just interpret the result. What can you say? Is there a significant difference? Overall?
Yes.
Yes. Why? Here it gives very clearly the F value is again less than 0.05. So overall, there's a difference. Right? But what groups are different from what? Does it say? No. To check that, what you do? To check that, you have to do what? What analysis? You have to perform something called post-hoc analysis. And yes, that's given next. Here, Turkey's HST has been done. And here you can see the comparisons are given. So financial analyst and investor managers. Is there a significant difference? Yes. Here the sig value is less than 0.05. So there's a significant difference between these 2 groups in terms of their satisfaction related to the effectiveness. How about investment managers and clients? Is there a significant difference? Yes, again, you can see the seek value is less than 0.05. So there is significant difference. How about clients and financial analysts? Is there a significant difference?
No.
Clients and financial analysts. Is there a significant difference? No. So it seems internal and external people have differences, isn't it? Financial analyst and investor analysts are external, investor managers are internal guys. In investment managers and clients, internal, external, but external, client and financial analyst seems having similar perceptions related to the system because there's no significant difference. You don't need to go to that extent and analyze. You can just say whether there's significant difference or not. Right? So I have given all these here as well. Gender, suggested answer. An independent sample t-test was conducted to examine if satisfaction levels differ by gender. Mean difference is this, right? Since the p-value is greater than 0.05, the difference is not statistically significant. Thus, we conclude that satisfaction with AI-powered financial advice does not significantly differ based on males and females. The stakeholder type, overall, ANOVA, you are correct. A one-way ANOVA was used to examine the satisfaction differences across stakeholder types, financial analysts, investor managers, and individual clients. So yes, indeed, the SIG value is less than 0.05. Since the SIG value, the probability value is less than 0.05, we conclude that satisfaction significantly differs among stakeholder groups on an overall basis. Then group-wise differences, we perform Tukey's HST. Right, that's what it says. Then as we saw, it's significant. Financial analysts and investor managers, it's significant. So they are more satisfied. Investor managers are more satisfied. Or you can say significantly different. Investor managers and clients, there is again significant difference, but no, clients and financial analysts are not different. So that's how you could conclude. Okay. So now let's come to the third part of this question. That's about the correlation analysis I could remember. Yeah. Part C. Comment on the relationship of selected variables with satisfaction with the effectiveness of AI-powered financial advisory based on the correlation analysis output in Appendix 3. Now you have to use the correlation analysis and interpret the results. Okay, what's the relationship between these independent variables and the dependent variable? What? Satisfaction with the effectiveness of the AI-powered financial advisory system. Shall we go to the correlation analysis? So let's go to the correlation analysis. Here the correlation analysis is there. What can you say? Now you can see satisfaction is here. And satisfaction, that's the diagonal we ignore. But how about satisfaction and accuracy? Is there a significant relationship? Satisfaction and accuracy? Yes, indeed. There is a significant positive, relationship. And it seems 0.6. So it's strong. 0.6 to 0.8, it's strong relationship, isn't it? So you can see there's a strong positive correlation, significant correlation between accuracy and satisfaction level. How about biasness, Decision bias, reduction of decision biasness and satisfaction level. Is there a significant relationship? The correlation coefficient is 0.54. So can you conclude that there's a moderate positive correlation between bias and satisfaction? If you tell that, Putta, you lose marks. I told you, here it's not significant. The significant level is 0.05. 1. It's above 0.05. Marginally, but again, it's above. So in that case, how you interpret the result? How you interpret the result? You would say that there's no real systematic relationship between reduction of bias and satisfaction related to the system. How about time efficiency and satisfaction? Is there a significant impact? Yes, again, there is a strong positive correlation between what? Time efficiency and satisfaction, because here you can see again, it's above, the significant level is below 0.05, and here it's above 0.6. So 0.6 to 0.8, we usually denote it as a strong correlation, positive correlation. So yes, you can see both satisfaction, the accuracy and time efficiency are having strong positive correlations with the dependent variable, right? Satisfaction with the efficiency of effectiveness of the system. But other than reduction of the biases are not there. Because sometimes AI-powered systems are creating biases, right? Biases. Okay, so that's what you can give under question number 2. Right? Is that clear, Buddha?
So if it's exactly 0.05, then still we are to say that there is no systematic relationship, right?
Above 0.05.
No,
Above
exactly
0.05. Exactly, you can, right? We say below 0.05, right? Below 0.05, right? We don't say, if it is exactly similar, then again we'll have to Buddha say, technically, I will not give a question like that, never, because you will be in trouble. But technically, it says it has to be less than 0.05, less than, not less than, equal to 0.05, isn't it? Okay, less than 0.05. So in that case, if it is 0.05, then again we have to say there is no significant relationship or significant impact. But for the exam, at least I'll make it 0.051. So it will be easy for you. But a very important question you asked. Because always we are less than 0.05. Right? We say P less than 0.05. Isn't it? I'm typing that 0.05. We don't say less than or equal to 0.05. Less than. That means we don't take 0.05. Okay. Enough, no? ඇති නේද? ඔව් සර්. හොඳට මේ. So I think 2 questions, sample questions are discussed, and you are welcome to refer the marking scheme, and good luck with your exam. No. We'll discuss the other questions also. Okay. නේද? අනේ සර් එහෙම කරන්න එපා නේ. Okay, of course. Okay. Right. Okay, Buddha, shall we take a break and then continue? Okay. We shall continue, Buddha. Maybe we'll little bit go beyond 10, right? But it's well worth to understand. So I'll discuss all. Right. I'll take, then after this, you have panel data analysis question. Then after that, you have factor analysis and t-test. These are, quite theory-based question. Practical, but not using state outputs. Then finally, we'll have question number 5, structural equation 1. Okay, Buddha, we'll then have a small break now, and we'll continue with our discussion for the panel data analysis. But before we break up, any questions that you can ask me. Was it clear? You can use whatever language that's okay for you, right? It's because we are not trying to learn English, no. We are using English because that's the language prescribed for teaching and learning purposes. But on the other hand, you can use any language to ask questions that if it is not clear. But when you write the answers, please write in English only, right? Because we don't understand certain languages, right? So therefore, now, for an example, if you write in Tamil, I don't understand it. And therefore, don't write other than English, don't write in any other language. And but now if you have any questions, you can ask me in any language that you prefer. But I prefer either Sinhala or English, because I'm not discriminating Tamil language, because I don't know Tamil, although I'm Muslim. I can understand to a certain extent only. Right. Okay. Right. So we will then have a small break, Puta, right? And meet at 9:30 and we shall continue. So maybe I predict we might go up to 10:30. Although originally we thought of going up to 10 p.m. But again, I would like to discuss the things and help you to understand. Right? So shall we have a small break now? And we shall meet them for that 9:30. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you. students, welcome back. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Buddha, thank you. Right. So let's now come to question number 3, where we are going to discuss about panel data analysis. Now, if you look at this one, panel data analysis, I think you can remember we discussed it in the class where you take, now for example, if you take one company, you get for several years. The ROA for maybe ABC company for 2021, 2022, 2023, likewise, we have a panel data set. Likewise, for company B, company C, likewise, it will be there. Here, look at this example. The study explored the factors influencing financial analyst performance across 50 investment firms over 5 years. So how many observations should be there?
250.
Altogether. 250, excellent. Because there are 50 investment firms and it's over 5 years. So 250, very good. So the dependent variable is the financial analyst performance, and the independent variables are trading hours, client portfolio size, use of AI, and work-life balance. The data was analyzed using both fixed and random effects panel regression models, and using the appendix 4 state outputs provided, answer the following questions. Now here you are given in appendix 4 the panel regression questions. So what I'm going to do is I will put some excess here. Right. Okay. So it will. Okay. Explain the importance of panel data analysis and its advantages over cross-sectional analysis. Now, in the normal regression, Buddha, what we are trying to do is we are trying to, now if you put all these 250 observations, it will consider in a normal regression as separate 250 analysts. But are they actually 250 analysts? No, it's actually 50 investment. Actually, it's 50 investment firms over 5 years, right? Not 250 firms, right? Not 250 firms. It's only 50 investment firms. But on the normal regression, it will consider as what? It will consider as 250 separate firms, investment firms. So that's what we have to understand. So that difference cannot be made under cross-sectional analysis. That's the normal regression analysis. So if you go to the answer, so this is the correlation analysis. We say whether it's significant or not in the early question. Then this question number 4, we shall go to question number 3. We'll come to question number 4 later. Question number 3 again. I think. Okay. Question number 3 is the last question. The answer, right? The answer is placed at the end. So explain the importance of suggested panel data analysis involves a set that track multiple entries, firms, individuals across the time. This allows for examining both cross-sectional and time series dimensions. That means you can understand that as a one set. Advantages, so controlling for unobserved heterogeneity, firm-specific effects. That's what we call about fixed effects and random effects. We cannot control for these fixed effects or random effects in normal regression. Then likewise improving the estimated efficiency. And particularly if you say that in normal regression, it considered the observations as separate investment firms, and under panel regression as one set, then that would be considered as an full answer. Right. Then, okay. Discuss the overall model significance based on the fixed effects regression results provided in appendix 4. So if you go over here, if you go to appendix 4, now whether the fixed effect regression is significant or not, what can you say? Where do you need to see? Whether now this is the fixed effect regression. It's very clear, it says. And then number 2, random effect. And some other analysis is there, which I'll come to that later. So if you look at the fixed effect regression results, is it significant? You can see again here, but it's
Yes, sir.
significant. It is significant. So therefore we could conclude, yes, it is significant. So let me use that XXX. So that's why I put XXX. It's easy to navigate. Right. So another data analysis. So that's what. An overall model significance based on fixed effects model. Yes, it is significant. And that's what I have given here. This is the p-value. If the model is statistically significant, this means that the independent variables that these things jointly explain a significant amount of variance in the financial analyst performance across the time and the firms. So that's what it says. It's significant. Right. Then next one. C. Based on the results provided in Appendix 4, discuss which model specification, fixed or random effect should be used. Now to see what to use, whether it's fixed effect or random effect, what analysis you should perform. I told you in performing appendix. Excellent, within Hausmann's test. Perfect. So you go to Appendix 4 and see, you can see Hausmann test is given. So if the Hausmann value, the p-value, the Hausmann test is less than 0.05, what model you should use? What specification you should use?
Fixed effect.
Fixed effect. Very good. Fixed effect. Now here the p-value is above 0.05. In that case, what you have to use? Random effect should be used. So in that case, the first specification which says fixed effect should not be used, and you should use the random effect specification. So that's the answer. You go here, you can see here. Based on the results provided in Appendix 4, what model to use. So it very clearly says fail to reject the null hypothesis. So the random effect model should be used. If you just say it's the random effect model should be used, that's enough. And then finally, this, okay. X marks, so it's easy to navigate. Okay, so then the last one is provide recommendations. Now here, when you provide the recommendations, you have to use the correct model. Now, of course, here we understood it's the random effect model. So look at the random effect, so appropriate panel regression results. Look at the appropriate panel regression results and give the answer. So therefore, in case if you look at the wrong specification, fixed effect and give the answer, then you get no marks. So therefore, based on the Hausmann test, you have to choose the appropriate panel regression and provide the recommendations. So if you go back and see, so you can see the random effect specification as given. Here you can see. Now, if you are asked to give recommendations, what the recommendations you can give to increase the performance of this investor analysis, what you have to do? Is trading hours having an impact? A significant impact? Trading hours? No. Trading hours has no significant impact. Client portfolio performance? No, it doesn't have an impact. Then use of AI? Yes. How about work-life balance? No. So actually you can see if you use AI, now I'm actually today experimented with agentic ChatGPT AI. It's fascinating. So I can give a particular folder in Google Drive and asked to analyze all the 200 files that are there and give me results, it will do that. So today I did that. It's marvelous. It's not just generative AI, it's agentic AI, and it shows what it's doing. It opens the file, it closes the file, everything is being indicated. So it's fascinating to see how it's as a robot it's working. But never mind about that. So yes, use of AI. So what is your recommendation? To increase their performance, promote AI, AI-based tools. Of course, that's what I would say, right? Enhance use of AI tools and even AI training. So AI should be the base answer because it's the only significant way. Okay, so that's about panel data analysis. Okay. So now let's come to question number 4, which is quite, we are not going to use any state outputs here. Now it's asked differentiate between an independent sample t-test and a paired sample t-test using an appropriate example related to accounting. Now you should know about accounting and auditing, no? We were taught accounting, auditing. So using appropriate examples. Now for an example, if you say independent sample t-test, right? Independent sample t-test, you compare 2 groups, right? Related to accounting. Maybe you can take in accounting, maybe again 2 systems, right? One manual system and then the other one an automated system, and see the satisfaction level of the accountants, right? And maybe the effectiveness of those systems, right? How effective that is. Okay, so 2 systems, 2 independent samples. Then paired sample. Okay, you might take accountants before training and after training. Even you can apply that to auditors, isn't it? Before training and after training, whether their efficiency has gone up. That's paired sample t-test because you are taking the same person. Okay. Then explain the purpose of performing a Wilcoxon's rank sum test. So that's the non-parametric version. Why do we need to do a Wilcoxon sign rank test for the rank sum test, not a sign rank test? What's the parametric version of that?
Independent sample t-test.
Very good, excellent. Independent sample t-test. Independent sample t-test is the parametric version. So when the data is highly skewed, not normal or abnormal, when there are outliers, you will perform the parametric, non-parametric version. Parametric versions cannot be used, like the independent sample t-test, as you very correctly told. So we might need to use, in that case, if the data is abnormal, we might need to use this test, right? Wilcoxon rank sum test or the man-Whitney test. So that's what you would say. When the data is abnormal and when you want to compare 2 independent groups, you perform the Wilcoxon rank sum test. So I have given the answer for that as well, question number 4. Okay. An independent sample t-test is used to compare the means of 2 independent groups. Examples: comparing the average audit fees paid by listed companies versus private companies. An audit example. A paired sample t-test is used when comparing 2 related measurements from the same group, comparing pre-training and post-training scores of accounting staff on IFRS knowledge after attending a CPD workshop, continuous professional development workshop. Then explain the purpose of Wilcoxon rank sum test. Then Wilcoxon rank sum test, also known as the man-Whitney test, it's a non-parametric test used to compare 2 independent groups when the assumption of normality is not there, when things are abnormal. It assesses whether the distributions of 2 groups differ significantly. This test is useful when data is ordinal, skewed, or containing outliers, when data is abnormal. comes the interesting application. You are now required to read these and provide what kind of analysis is suitable with justification. Some students just write the test, but you have to justify it. Why you are using that particular test? Let's see one by one. Take one by one. Right? A financial consulting firm implemented two different AI-driven investment recommendation systems, System A and System B. The firm wants to compare the average returns generated by each system to determine which one performs better. What's the test that you would suggest and why?
Independent sample t-test.
Very good. Excellent. Independent sample t-test. It's two independent groups, System A and System B, two independent systems, right? So in that case, it's independent sample t-test because it's two independent groups, two independent systems, right? So perfect. A bank wants to, case number 2, a bank wants to assess whether the average customer satisfaction rating for its digital banking services meets its industry benchmark of 4 on a 5-point Likert scale. What's the test that you would do? Now here, remember, if I don't give any clue or any indication that the data is abnormal and other things, then always write the parametric version. On Q&A data abnormal there, if I don't say the data abnormal and anything, then use the parametric version. Right? Okay. What's the test that you would do? Case 2. Students.
One sample t-test.
Very good. Excellent. One sample t-test indeed. Because here what you do is you take the average customer satisfaction and compare with a benchmark. 4. Right? So that's what you do in a one sample t-test. So that's the perfect answer. You compare whether it's significantly different from a benchmark. The example we took what at the class is the bulb example. Whether 867 hours average burning time of the sample is significantly different from the population mean of 1000. Benchmark was 1000, right? Burning time. Case 3. An insurance company introduced 3 pricing models, Model A, Model B, and Model C across branches. Right? Management wants to evaluate whether there are statistically significant differences in customer retention rate across these models, noting that the data does not follow a normal distribution. So an indication is very clearly given that the data is abnormal. So what's the test that you would perform? What's the test that you would perform?
Kruskal-Wallis test.
Very good. Excellent. Kruskal-Wallis test. Because here, if the data, now suppose if the data was normal, you could have done what? The one-way ANOVA. With post-hoc analysis, you could have done that. But now here it says clearly, noting that the data does not follow normal distribution. The exam, see whether such kind of indication is given. If there's no indication, then assume always the data is normal. But here expressly it says what? Expressly it says that the data is abnormal. In that case, what's the test that you have to do? You are very correct. It's Kruskal-Wallis test. Here you compare more than 2 groups, 3+ groups. Right? Twice you justify and you write the answer. So that's what I have given here. Justification, statistical test. The first one was independent sample t-test. Because these are 2 independent systems, System A and System B. Right. And then comparing the customer satisfaction with the industry benchmark 4 is the one sample t-test. Because you are testing with the mean benchmark, the industry benchmark with the mean. Then comparison of statistics, compare customer retention across the pricing models. So it's Kruskal-Wallis test because it's not normally distributed and you have to compare more than two groups. Okay. Any questions related with it? We can see 31 students who are there. I expected there are about 100, I don't know, 70 or odd students maybe in this class, but again, maybe they might be afraid of coming to the lecture today because all they might be studying, right? But never mind, the video is recorded and I encourage all to have a look at this, right? Right. Okay, so we'll now come to the final question. The final question is structural equation modeling smart PLS. So it says again, it gives reference to the case study which we elaborated in question number 1, right? So even for your exam this time, that's the case, right? I'm going to refer the same case study for this purpose as well, right? And so only the panel regression analysis will have a different scenario. But on the other hand, for all other questions, the case 1 under question number 1 will be used. So it says again, refer to that. And then the reliability and validity matrices are given, path coefficients are given. Then it says A, evaluate the reliability and validity of the construct using the results provided in table 1 above. What can you say? Is it reliable? Is it reliable? These are the variables, 4 variables. Yes, as we saw under events data, all are above 0.7 except 1. Something is wrong with this reduction of decision biases. It's 0.58, right? Something is really an issue. But when it comes to the composite reliability, even those are above 0.7. Rho A and rho C, right? So that's about reliability. And validity, I told you that there are 2 kinds of validities. What are the 2 kinds of validities? One is convergent validity. The other one is what? Discriminant validity. When it comes to convergent validity, what you are looking at? AVE, average variance extracted. I was telling you, right, to say that there's convergent validity, that indicators come together and develop one construct, right? We have 4 constructs, so these are coming together, the relevant indicators under these. That's what we call convergent validity. Convergence means coming together. So what's the result showing? Is the AV value is good? Good or bad? Is it good or bad? Students are sleeping. Still it's 10 p.m. and very few days to go for the exam. By the way, when are you going to have your exam? 14th or 15th? I have no idea because I set the paper and I gave it. Students?
14, sir.
14, no? 14. Don't worry, don't worry. You will do it very, very good, right? Go through this revision again. Please go through this revision again. And right, okay. So AB value we understood should be above 0.5. Right? If the AB values are above 0.5, we concluded that there is what? There is construct validity. That's what we concluded. There's no issue. So 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 there's no right? Convergent validity as well. Validity, the convergent validity is there. Reliability is there, but except one construct has a reliability problem using cron by itself. So you can comment on those things. Then draw a conceptual diagram based on the relationship given in table 2. So looking at table 2, can you draw a conceptual diagram? Can you draw one? You should be able to draw one, but remember, here there's a moderation impact. What's the moderator? Age. Right? There's a moderation impact. So let me show you how to draw this. So let's say MS Paint. So how to draw a moderator? And remember that we drew. So you have the 3 independent variables. Now draw nice circles, right? I'm drawing this paint. So these are the 3 independent variables. What are 3 independent variables? It's called accuracy A. Now I'm unable to write it because I'm drawing. So it's a headache over what to do. Then lesion biases, I say B, lesion biases. But at the exam, you write the proper variable. Then time efficiency, I'll say P. So these are the independent variables that's impacting what? The dependent variable. What's the dependent variable? Satisfaction. And then get the satisfaction, it's called S. And then moderator, you can see there's a moderator. The moderator is impacting what? Accuracy, reduction, as well as time efficiency. All 3 are being impacted. So in that case, we can call age. It's called AG. With a moderator, you have to draw lines like this. It's impacting this, it's impacting this, and it's impacting this. So these are your conceptual diagram. Okay. So draw it properly. That also I have given here. So I told here, all constructs are showing strong reliability, but except that one. So here the answer is not complete. Not all construct. All construct except. So please amend the answer. Case. Except, right? This one. Reduction. Except reduction of time versus show strong reliability. So you have to comment on that, right? In convergent validity, I was telling that AVE is above 0.5, so there's no issue. Draw conceptual diagram, so you have to draw that conceptual diagram as I drew that, and also show the moderation impact. Right, let's come on to C. Discuss the relationships among the different variables concerning their significance levels. The impact now we have to discuss based on the significance level. How significant? Is accuracy significant? Yes, it is significant. How about reduction of lesion biases on effectiveness? Is it significant? Yes, it is significant. It's less than 0.05. How about time efficiency? It is significant. So now, right, in structure equation modeling, all 3 independent variables are significant. Then how about the moderation impact? To comment on the moderation impact, always look at this, right? Don't look at age on effectiveness. That's useless. We are looking at what? This on this. Age on accuracy of predictions on effectiveness. So these called the interaction terms. Are the interaction terms significant? No. Age has no impact on accuracy and effectiveness relationship. Then age does not have an impact on reduction of lesion biases on effectiveness, but age has an impact on time efficiency and effectiveness, a positive impact. So what we can say is age positively moderates between the relationship between time efficiency and effectiveness. As here you can see it's significant. So that you have to explain. Accuracy of AI predictions, it's significant. Lesion reduction, yes. For biases, it's significant. Time efficiency, it's significant. Age is not significant, but in terms of moderating impact, only these significant. Other interactions are not significant. Okay. Finally, you are asked to give a recommendation. So give recommendations only on significant items. So here all three are significant. So you can give accuracy, bias reduction, as well as time efficiency. You can give, those are significant. And also you can say age, significant moderates, right? Time efficiency and satisfaction, right? So for more elderly people, they value time. That's what it shows. And it satisfies them. Based on that, you can give some recommendations as well. Right. Okay. So that's it. 20 marks. So I have told you how to get 120 marks. Not only 100, 120 marks, by 120 with the optional question, another 20 marks, so 120. But you have to do only 3 questions, except question number 1. Right? You can see altogether there are 5 questions. First question is compulsory. So then you have another 4 questions. Out of that, you have to write 3 questions. Okay. Right. So that's it. Now I would like to take questions from you. Any questions for them? Is it clear what we discussed? Did you get afraid? Right? Don't worry. But you have few more days. 14th is the deadline. Few more days. Yes, Buddha. Yes, please go ahead.
You mentioned writing the points alone is not sufficient, right? So to get full marks, the marking scheme answers that you have provided is not sufficient, is it?
Not. It's like Buddha. It's not. That means not 100% not sufficient. It's okay, but elaborate. So what I'm trying to, because some people would see this as a model answer and will try to write the same thing. But yes, if you write not the same thing, you can write elaborately a bit more. So that's what I'm saying. Give more information if possible. But these answers actually with a structured answers. So to be fair with the marking scheme, but again, right at the exam, try to elaborate a little bit more, provided with the time frame that you have. Because to do everything, we have 3 hours. Give diagrams, elaborate, and highlight them. Right? Don't use red color, but other colors you could use, and try to give a good experience to the examiner who will be marking several hundreds of papers this time. Okay, we are going to mark 200 papers this time, almost 200 papers. Yes, good question. Further without, right? So you can see the entire syllabus is covered. And if you know these things, you can do a very good, decent research without any problem. So I have given you everything that I know, and because this might be the last chance that you would be studying like this. At the MBA level or the PhD level, they don't teach you like this. Only at the undergraduate level you teach. Even in the undergraduate level, this amount of depth, I have not seen that much. But what I try to do is to take you through, and it was easy for me because I used Stata particularly, right, as the main analytical tool. Any further questions? Okay, seems no questions in that case, Buddha. So I don't want to take more time because the exams are very near the corner, right? So, right, again, what I will do is I would like to wish you all the very best at the exams. Don't worry, right? So you now know what are the expectations. Today I even did a thing that I usually don't do. I don't give the marking scheme and I don't give the model answers, but I gave it to you because you were a good set of students. Very attentive, and you did very well at the presentations. Some groups really did not, but again, majority did extremely well. And I really enjoyed, right, your presentations and also the closeness that you had with me, right? I really attribute that to the batch leader, right? So, and she's the person who really came forward and asked me, right, on behalf of the batch, we could have this kind of say, I was, of course, I'll be very happy to. Okay, Buddha, so I'm not going to take more time because time is precious at this moment, I know. So you are having your exams this Saturday or maybe on 14th, right, that Saturday. So let me take this opportunity again to express the same best wishes that I expressed to you at your exams. Do very well, and also in your life, in all life endeavors, right? Work hard. So again, the two messages I'm going to give you, right? The same two messages I gave you earlier. Work hard, right? Of course, you are smart, so I know that you will be working smart, but work hard while working smart. Number one. Number two, be ethical. Always do the right thing when others are not watching. Some people do the right thing when all others are watching. So my advice to you is do the right thing when all others are not watching. Even when others are not watching, do the right thing. Right? Okay. So those are the two key messages I could give you. That's would set the foundation for being ultra successful. So that's what I want to see in 5-10 years time, to see you as CEOs, CFOs. At that time, I might be living or not, I don't know. That depends on hands on road. But again, that's my sincere wish, to see you all prospering very well in your careers and being very productive individuals, ultra successful individuals. And we'll be very proud to see you all in that capacity, right? So you can, of course. So I know your capacities. Okay. So with that, thank you very much, Puta, for taking part. And I wish you a very good night. Please encourage the other students who are not here to watch this and to get prepared. Good night, Puta. Please take care.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, of course, of course.
Sir, can we refer to the SPSS past papers because we have only one past paper to do? All the other past
Okay.
papers are with SPSS data set.
Then other Puta karani. These are also past paper.
Yeah, this one, like if we
And
need to do one more or something.
early one, Puta ma try karda.
Yeah, then okay.
That one was also, you can refer to that. But again, um, past papers, Puta, again, if you look at the things, it will be similar. Case study and the type of questions. So therefore, the SPSS, you can check that. The only thing is, the SPSS, outputs will be different. That's the only difference.
Okay,
So you might sometimes get confused. So by looking at the output, so I don't maybe recommend to look at those things because you might get confused, Buddha. But if you know both SPSS and Stata, then there's no any problem. It's almost the same thing. But Stata is much more powerful. But for your purposes, Buddha, that's fine if you understand SPSS. In case, or maybe you have studied somewhere else, and if you can do that, that's fine. But if you are not familiar with SPSS, Putha, don't look at those things because you might get confused. Because the outputs are quite different, although the same statistics is there somewhere, but the outputs are different. That's why. Good question.
Okay, sir.
Mm,
Thank you.
indeed. Thank you, Buddha. So thank you, Shironi. So for actually requesting this session as well as on behalf of the batch and always supporting us and helping and giving the leadership with the other batch leaders. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Buddha. Okay, so with that, then we'll complete today, Buddha. So any other questions? Of course, we can spend a little bit more time. No questions. Okay. So again, my best wishes. Buddha, and please take care. Good night. And we'll see again in a different capacity. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Good night.